Greetings, class. Dr. Ramos here. We are in week 4 of Kin 303. We are halfway through this course. We still have a few big assignments due, but this week is pretty light, so not too much to worry about. But it does give you a good opportunity to look ahead and maybe work ahead so that there's not too much of a rush in the last two weeks, because that's usually when the critical assignments due, and then you have a final as well. So this week is, if you don't have any other work or not too much stuff going on, I highly suggest that you take advantage of it and really look ahead and try to get some stuff done ahead of time. So we're going to go over what's due this week. We have chapters 8 and 10. Chapter 8's on motor behavior. Chapter 10's on biomechanics of physical activity. Both chapters are not that long, so it's not too tough of a read. You're also going to have the PowerPoint and also my lecture on those chapters. You're going to have the 4th quiz that will be the same format as all the other quizzes, so you should be pretty familiar with that. Finally, you'll have activity 2, which is research and interpret. So you're given a journal article to read, to analyze and synthesize, and then you will answer a few questions regarding that article. And so this is meant to get you to learn how to start analyzing and synthesizing research. Like it says here, the journal articles reviews are designed to help you get familiar with finding and interpreting current credible information. And so I can tell you from experience, from doing research, from having to write a manuscript, the importance of actually understanding what you're reading. Because in research, just because it's published doesn't mean it's going to be, it doesn't mean that the methods and the writing is all going to be perfect. There's a lot of research that gets published that may not be up to par in quality as others. So I'm going to go through that a little bit right now, just to kind of give you an example. So here's the journal article. It's called Effects of Barefoot and Barefoot-Inspired Footwear on Knee and Ankle Loading During Running. Now, to get a sense of what the whole article is going to be about, the abstract gives you a brief overview of the hypothesis, the methods, the results of the whole study. So it gives you a brief snapshot. It's kind of like a trailer for a movie. However, when you are reviewing a journal article, it's going to take a little bit more detail than just that. So you can't just read the abstract and expect to know all the little details about the study. The first thing that is given to you is the introduction. So it gives you some background about the topic of the study. So, it'll give you kind of like a small review of the material that's been out there for this specific topic, and it kind of leads up to what the question is going to be for the study. And we'll go over the questions, but that's going to be really important. The next portion is the methods, which will typically, if it's a experimental study, it'll typically have participants. So it'll describe the population that the authors did this experiment on, and then it'll go on to the procedures. And this is kind of where they explain the whole methods of how they went about conducting this experiment. And from there, it'll also give you details about the data processing. In this case, they kind of have to explain what technology they used and how they calculated some of their numbers. And then towards the end of that section, they'll give you an explanation of what statistical analysis they did to analyze all of the data that they collected. The second to last section is the results, and this is where they explain what they found through the analysis of all of the data. And the last section is typically a discussion section, and this is where more or less in plain English they explain what they found. they typically don't include any statistical analysis in this section. That's all done in the results section. But if you want to know, okay, what was the final outcome of what they studied, that'll be in the discussion section, and then from there they'll have the references. What's important to note is that in this first page, you're going to have pretty much all the information that you need to properly cite and reference this article, which is really important for APA formatting. So as you are putting this journal review together, remember all of your writing has to be in APA formatting. So you have to have a title page, you have to have headers, everything has to be in APA, Times New Roman 12-point font. And some of the main things that you need are the title of the journal, which is here, the title of the journal article, the author's first and last name, the year of publication, and you're also going to need the issue and volume number. So those sometimes are given down here or sometimes on the last page. And then the DOI, which is very handy because it's right here. But there's a specific way to do a DOI, so you have to make sure you use the Purdue OWL website, the writing lab that they have online, and that'll teach you how to properly do all the in-text citation and the referencing. Now when it comes to the questions, here are the questions. This is just listed, but I don't want you to just use the same format and answer directly to this document. Remember, it has to be APA formatted, so you have to create your own document, but just make sure that you are answering each of these questions. And at that point, if everything's formatted, I'm okay if you do bullet points, or if you just do it in an essay format, but it does have to be APA formatted. All right, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. But it should be a pretty straightforward week. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments.